Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. I love Chinese takeaway just as much as the next guy, but something I think I enjoy just as much is recreating these old favourites myself, and trying to figure out what makes each one of them special. So today, I'm going to be trying my hand at Kung Pao chicken with garlic sesame rice. If that sounds like something you're into, hang around to see how this one turns out. As always, a full list of ingredients can be found at the end of the video. They'll also be listed in the description below. This one is pretty straightforward, not a heap of marinating and waiting, so let's knock it out really quickly. I'll start by getting 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing cooking wine, and 1 teaspoon of corn flour into a bowl. This is going to be a light and quick marinade for our chicken, giving it a little seasoning, and that corn flour will help to tenderize the chicken slightly. I'll give it a mix, and this one can go to the side while we get this chicken together. Today I've got myself some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Well, when I say boneless, there are a few little bone chips left in here from where they've been boned out, so I'll give them a good check over and get them cut into strips. Insert Kung Pao joke here. Apparently I had some kind of plan while I was filming this one. Kung Pao! Then the chicken can go into the marinade. Give it a good rummage around to combine, and it can go to the side while we get everything else together.
That is the most horrific thing I've ever heard.
This chopping board needs a little bit of love. It's been used a lot since I've been filming these videos, and I'm pretty critical about scrubbing it down, probably too much. If keeping your chopping board well maintained is something you'd like me to make a video on, let me know in the comments below. It's something I'd love to delve into if it's something that people are interested in. But back to cooking. I'll chop a little garlic. Well, not that one. It looks a bit weird, but I've got a few more cloves here. Then I'll get a medium-sized saucepan onto the stove and bring it up to medium heat with some sesame oil. I want this one to get hot enough that I can smell the sesame toasting, releasing all of the nutty aroma, and then I'll pop the garlic in. We just want this one to sweat and soften slightly. It only took about 30 seconds to start cooking, and then in goes our rice. Give it a good mix around to get well coated in that sesame and garlic goodness, and get a bit of heat into the rice. Toasting this a little here is going to add to the nuttiness of the rice and really accentuate that sesame flavour. Then I'll pop in some water, bring it to a simmer, pop a lid on, and this can tick away while we finish getting our Kung Pao chicken together. You see what I did there? For the veg that's going to go into the stir fry with the chicken, I'll slice some more garlic, and another weird one. What's going on here today? Then a quick slice on a red and green capsicum. Lastly, a few spring onions. I'll slice the white parts to go in with the garlic, and pop the green parts into a bowl, and they can be set aside. Alright, we're getting there. Now time for the sauce. Into a small mixing bowl goes a few tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of hoisin sauce, a tablespoon of black vinegar, a tablespoon of sugar, a couple of teaspoons of the king of flavour, and lastly, a tablespoon-ish of corn flour. I probably should have mixed the corn flour with a little water, but I didn't want to dilute this sauce at all, so I'll struggle along till everything is well combined. I really need a new wok. Let's pretend that that's what I'm cooking in today. I'll get the pan screaming hot and add in a little oil followed by the chicken. I do want to try and get a bit of colour happening on this one, so I'll leave it alone for a couple of minutes while it gets going. When that crust starts to form, I'll flip all the pieces over and let them cook through from the other side. When they are almost cooked, in goes the Kung Pao part of this recipe, about 6 dried Chinese chilies. This is probably a pretty white person level of heat, but to be honest, I've had some experiences in the past with these guys that have got me running scared. If you're more of a man than me, go as hard as you like.
This is our handbook. I wrote the whole thing myself.
We want them to darken a little in that oil and chicken fat to toast them up and bring them to life. And that looks pretty good. So into the pan goes our garlic and spring onion whites, and just cook them for a few seconds. Then into the pan goes our green capsicum, followed by the red. This wok is probably a bit over full, but I'm not sure I've ever cooked a recipe on here that was an appropriate amount of food in the pan. Give everything a really quick stir fry until it softens slightly. When everything is looking pretty cooked and well combined, in goes the sauce. Now because there's corn flour already in this one, it's going to bind up and cling to everything in the pan pretty quick, and I'm pretty sure it'll burn if we leave it to cook for too long. So I'll give it a toss, turn off the heat, a quick check for seasoning, and it tastes pretty good. So in goes the green parts of our spring onions we sliced earlier, followed by some chopped roasted peanuts. I didn't really think this recipe through when it came to what pots and pans I have around, but for the last step, I'll preheat another pan on the stove with some sesame oil and get our bok choy in to sear. I just want to cook this one enough until it colours on one side, then I'll flip it over, season it with a little soy and white sugar to give it some flavour. And that looks like everything, so let's bring this home. To finish off the rice, I'll sprinkle in a few sesame seeds and a little more sesame oil to really give the rice as much sesame flavour as possible. Then I'll pop some onto a plate, sling a little bok choy in there, and spoon over some of that delicious looking kung pao chicken. A few more spring onions and chopped peanuts, and we're done. I can't believe how simple this one is. It might look like a few steps, but they're all really easy, and for the amount of effort, this is big on flavour. What's your favourite Chinese takeaway? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out everyone. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. See you on the next one!